How's everyone doing today? It's your boy JG Domination, and we're here on NBA 2K20. We're not going to be actually playing NBA 2K20, but we're going to be doing a little discussion video. This is something that I've done before, and it's something that I've totally ripped off from Colin Cowherd. We're going to be doing the three-word game for the NBA Eastern Conference teams for this upcoming NBA season, the 2019-2020 NBA season. So without further ado, we're going to be starting off with the Philadelphia 76ers and working our way down to the Washington Wizards. So we're going in chronological order of how 2K has the teams listed, just so nobody gets confused at home. So starting off with the Philadelphia 76ers, and remember, these are for the Eastern Conference, okay? Best starting five. In my opinion, this is the best starting five in the Eastern Conference. They have everything you look for. A playmaker, some two-way players, some dominant down-low defensive players, guys that can stretch the floor. This starting five has everything. Then you get to the bench, and there's not really a whole lot that you like. I mean, Mike Scott can stretch the floor. You got a couple of veterans, but really it's nothing that you like. It's nothing that's mouth-watering or exciting. But they do have the best starting five in the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee Bucks, back-to-back. Now, this can be interpreted in two different ways. Back-to-back as the number one seed in the Eastern Conference, or Giannis Antetokounmpo is back-to-back MVP. Do with that as you may, but just know that there's two meanings behind it. I don't think both of them can happen, but one of them definitely will, in my opinion. Chicago Bulls, they're playoff bound. I mean, this roster has a lot of great young talent. For them, it's all about staying healthy. They've added some good veteran players. Otto Porter, they brought in last year. Thaddeus Young, they brought in free agency. They drafted Kobe White. They brought in Thomas Satoransky. I mean, this team just has a lot of good young talent and some good veteran players that are going to be holding it down for this team. To me, they have a good formula of being at least an 8 seed in the playoffs for the Eastern Conference. Cleveland Cavaliers, starting this rebuild. They went out and they drafted Darius Garland. Last year they took Colin Sexton. They're both point guards, both 6'2". A little bit different. Colin Sexton's more of a scorer. Darius Garland is a good distributor, but he also can score just as well as Colin Sexton. You also have Jordan Clarkson, who was pretty effective last year. But I think you have to start the rebuild. You have a few guys on one-year contracts. Kevin Love's kind of cool with being here, but I feel like you have to move him somewhere. This roster does have some nice talent and some expiring contracts. I think this is the year they just need to start the rebuild and get off to the right track. The Boston Celtics somehow got worse. Kemba Walker filling in for Kyrie Irving is not the issue here. It's their front court, or lack thereof. Enes Kanter is a great offensive center. Defensively, he's Charmin Ultra Soft. He's not going to give you a whole lot on the inside defensively. No offense, Enes, one of my favorite players out there. And Gordon Hayward, I mean, you've been banking on Gordon Hayward for 2 years to come back and be Gordon Hayward. And he just hasn't quite been that. I mean, Daniel Tice is going to stretch the floor. And unless Robert Williams turns into Rudy Gobert overnight, I don't think the interior defense of this Celtics team is going to be good. They do have some guys that can get you some buckets, and I feel like if they can gel, they'll be good. But in my opinion, they've gotten a little worse. The Atlanta Hawks, worth the price. I mean, this is going to be one of the most fun teams in the league. Outside of maybe the Pelicans and the Sacramento Kings, they're going to be a load of fun. They brought in Jabari Parker to kind of revive his career, just get like a 1-year opportunity with a team option or a 2-year deal. I can't really remember exactly. DeAndre Hunter was their draft pick. He's going to do all the little things out there. You know, I don't expect him to stuff the stat sheet. You have Kevin Huerter, who I think is going to be pretty good. Cam Reddish, who I think can have a decent role on this team. Damian Jones, they seem to like a lot. And they also have these 2 contracts. Chandler Parsons, Evan Turner, that they're still eating up. So this Hawks team is definitely going to be fun to watch. Will they be a playoff team? I'm not sure. but they're going to be a whole lot of fun to watch. They're worth the price. Miami Heat, good with Jimmy. In my opinion, they can be a playoff team with Jimmy as their only star player. Now, they can go out and trade for a Bradley Beal. They can go out and trade for a Chris Paul. They can try to trade for a guy like D'Angelo Russell. But to me, I think they're fine with just Jimmy Butler and the supporting cast of guys like Goran Dragic, Bam Adebayo, Justice Winslow, Kelly Olynyk, and, James Johnson. And the list goes on. Tyler Hero. So in my opinion, Jimmy Butler could be good with this cast, and he doesn't need a second star. But we'll see if they actually do it. I think they're good with Jimmy. With the Charlotte Hornets, I could have been pretty harsh, but I decided to be nice. Establish your identity. You gave Terry Rozier a massive contract. Miles Bridges is one of your young players. Let's see. Malik Monk, another one of your young players. Dwayne Bacon's another one of your young players. PJ Washington, another one of those young players. You need to establish your identity. Who are you going to build the team around? Who's going to be the number 1, number 2, number 3 option? Listen, I could have said a lot of worse things. I thought about calling them another G League team. That was going to be the original 3-word for them. But I decided to keep it nice. Establish your identity. The New York Knicks, the secondary team. I think Kevin Durant said it best. The Knicks have been horrible for years, and they are relying on their brand to draw in star players. But I like this roster a lot. I mean, there's some good veteran players. I think Julius Randle's going to be nice. Mitchell Robinson's going to throw himself in there on an all-defensive team. We'll see what RJ Barrett does. But this team just has a lot of nice players on it. There's no one that really stands out, but there's some guys on this team that can get the job done. I don't know how good or how bad the Knicks will be, but they're the secondary team in New York as far as I'm concerned. The Orlando Magic, Mo and Markelle. If Mo Bamba and Markelle Fultz can play good, they're going to be very good. They're going to be a fun team out there. Aaron Gordon, a lot of people think he can be the most improved player. Same thing with Jonathan Isaac. But to me, if Markelle Fultz and Mo Bamba can elevate their game, can play better, get more minutes out there, play with confidence, this team will be a whole lot more dangerous. Mo Bamba's a 7-footer who can stretch the floor and block shots. Markelle Fultz, the youngest player in NBA history to get a triple-double in a game. There's potential in both guys. They just need to unlock it. Brooklyn Nets, just stay afloat. They have Kyrie Irving, of course, on this team. KD, gonna miss the season. Talks about him coming back. In my opinion, no need to come back. Just stay put, get healthy. You coming back early is the whole reason you're in this predicament. But I feel like with Kyrie Irving, as long as this team can make the playoffs, maybe steal a first-round matchup, you just got to stay afloat. You just got to get through the regular season, just make sure you're good enough to make the playoffs, and go from there. In my opinion, this team has a lot of talent. They got a lot of depth as well. We'll definitely see what this team is made of down the stretch, but for now, I think they just need to stay afloat. Indiana Pacers, lots of depth. They have a lot of depth, and I think if Victor Oladipo comes back and plays like an all-star, this team will only benefit from it. Malcolm Brogdon is a pretty efficient player, can do a lot of the things you like out there. Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis is a pretty good front court. TJ Warren got you almost 20 points in Phoenix last year. Jeremy Lamb's a pretty good shooting guard. TJ McConnell's a solid backup. TJ Leaf isn't too bad. And then, hell, you even get down here, like Aaron Holiday is going to be the backup point guard. But you can even get down here and you see some of the talent that this team has. They have a lot of depth, and I think if Victor Oladipo comes back to all-star form, this team will be just fine. Detroit Pistons, bridge the gap. Are you a mediocre team that's going to miss the playoffs? Or are you a mediocre team that's going to barely make the playoffs? Which one is it? You got to bridge the gap. In my opinion, there's a lot of room for them to get better. I think Derrick Rose is going to be an awesome sixth man. I think Blake Griffin is going to continue to ball out, but he can only do so much. It's really going to come down to Luke Kennard. It's going to come down to guys like Luke Kennard. Can he take the next step in his NBA career, entering his second season? You got a nice guy like Christian Wood, who's just been around, just been around on a few G League teams, has some experience in his young career. Bruce Brown, what's he going to do in the following season? Sekou, what's he going to do in his rookie season? There's a lot of unknowns here in Detroit, and a lot of things that have just been the same old, so they got to bridge that gap somehow. For the Toronto Raptors, unfortunately, Kawhi left. This team just won an NBA championship, well-deserved. They played their asses off. Everyone played their role effectively. But unfortunately, Kawhi Leonard's no longer here, which kind of sucks. You could still be a playoff team. I think the coaching staff is still very good. I think you have good veteran players who are built for the postseason. It's all about Pascal Siakam. Can he truly be that guy, or will it have to be Kyle Lowry? Will it have to be Fred VanVleet? But I think the X-Factor player for this team is going to be OG Anunoby. I don't know if he's going to start. It may be Stanley Johnson, but I think if OG gets some significant playing time and plays well, he can be the X-Factor for this Toronto team. I'm not saying he'll fill in Kawhi's role. I mean, you're not going to ask a third-year player to fill in one of the best players in the league's role. I mean, it's just impossible. And finally, for the Washington Wizards, trade Bradley Beal. Listen, you're stuck on this John Wall contract. Thomas Bryant's nice. Listen, they may need to blow this up. They might have to blow this up. I don't know where you trade Bradley Beal to. I've been hearing and seeing his name in trade rumors. I don't know a good destination. I don't really know the best trade package. Maybe you do, but I would just trade him. I mean, this team's not going to do much. I would just trade him. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this little 3-word game. I'll be doing this with the Western Conference if you guys want to hear it. And then maybe I'll do award predictions. Maybe I'll do, whatchamacallit, like the rankings from 15 to 1. I don't know. But hopefully you guys enjoy. Peace out.